At my best friend's urging, I picked up a red envelope with $400 inside. 7 days later, a car crash ruined my face. My parents' company was reported for fraud and went bankrupt. Meanwhile, my best friend's skin cleared up, she got gorgeous, and she landed a rich guy. Soon after, my whole family died in a series of accidents. But her life just kept getting better, until she was at the top of the world. Only after I died did I learn the truth. She had planted that red envelope. It was fate swapping money. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day she told me to pick it up. This time, I took that red envelope straight to my grandpa's pigsty. Ugh, I'm so tired. Shopping is a serious workout. Jenna dropped her new clothes and bags on the floor and flopped onto a nearby bench. Then she shot up like a spring, pointing at my feet and yelling, "Oh my God! Money! Look at all that money!" I froze for a second, following her finger. There on the ground was a red envelope, stuffed so full you could tell it was packed with cash. I looked at Jenna. Her skin was dark and rough, her face covered in a constellation of zits. This was how she looked at the beginning. Seeing me just staring at her, she gave me a shove. "Chloe, what are you spacing out for? Pick it up." The push sent me stumbling. I heard her familiar voice in my ear. "This is such good luck. It's a sign you're definitely going to ace your GREs." I snapped back to reality, looking around at the familiar street, the familiar shops, and that glaring red envelope on the ground, with that same, strange symbol drawn on it. I was reborn. In my last life, I listened to her, picked up that money, and kicked off a lifetime of misfortune. I'd foolishly believed her, and sewn the envelope into the pocket of my coat to keep it close. And what was the result? Nothing went right for me. I failed my grad school exams over and over, ending up with nothing. And Jenna? She spent all her time partying, never studying, and somehow she got in. She even had the nerve to comfort me. "Chloe, don't be sad. Look at me, I'm not a great student, and I still got in. You can just try again next year." If it had just been failing my exams, maybe I could have handled it. But what happened next completely broke me. I was driving one day when a huge truck smashed through the guardrail and hit me head on. I survived, but my face, the beauty I'd once been so proud of, was gone. My face was ruined. Then my parents' company was reported for tax evasion and teetered on the edge of bankruptcy. I lay in my hospital bed, listening to my parents run around desperately trying to save the company, completely helpless. While I was wishing for death in that hospital bed, Jenna came to visit. She was decked out in designer clothes, carrying a limited edition bag, her makeup flawless. She glowed, looking like a completely different person. She sat by my bed and started gushing about her wonderful life. She'd gotten into a top-tier grad program and had a rich, handsome boyfriend who doted on her. As she talked, she watched my expression. The more miserable I looked, the more smug she became. I finally understood. She wasn't there to visit me. She was there to show off, to flaunt everything she had now. Not long after, my parents, crushed by the bankruptcy, jumped from a building, killing themselves. And I, overwhelmed with grief, died in that hospital. I died, but my soul floated in the air, forced to watch as Jenna climbed her way to the top. Only later did I understand. It was all because of that red envelope. It wasn't a lucky charm. It was life-swapping money. The moment I picked it up, the swap began. Filled with a burning hatred, I stared at Jenna, as if trying to see right through her. My stare made her uneasy, and she nervously avoided my eyes. "What are you looking at me for? Go on, grab the cash." I suddenly laughed, my smile dripping with sarcasm. "You're applying to grad school too, right? If this money is such good luck, why don't you pick it up?" Jenna's face immediately turned awkward. She stammered, I'm not a good student. I'll never get in, so it'd be a waste. You should take it. You're smart, you'll definitely pass." I watched her pathetic act, laughing coldly to myself. In my last life, this fake, innocent routine completely fooled me and led my family to ruin. I put on a disgusted expression. Who knows what kind of germs and viruses are on that thing? You pick it up if you want. I don't want it. Seeing that I wasn't taking the bait, she had no choice but to pick it up herself. Fine. But don't you get jealous when my luck turns around. I smiled. I'll be so happy for you. Why would I be jealous? I couldn't wait to see how she was going to play this now that I wasn't falling for her trap. Jenna didn't seem to notice anything was off. She happily linked her arm with mine and pulled me along to keep shopping, as if nothing had happened. On the way back to the dorm, we passed a boutique, and Jenna dragged me inside. She twirled in front of the mirror, asking me if this color looked good, if that style suited her. I gave her half-hearted answers, a cold smile playing on my lips. Excuse me, how much is this dress? Jenna finally settled on a white lace dress and asked the clerk. That's a new arrival. It was originally $588, but it's on sale for $388, the clerk said enthusiastically. That's so expensive. Jenna feigned shock, then turned to me with a pitiful look. Chloe, I don't have any money in my account. Could you spot me? I glanced at her phone screen. Sure enough, it showed an insufficient balance. Jenna's family wasn't well off, and she was always taking advantage of me. She'd always ask me to pay first, promising to pay me back at the dorm, then conveniently forget. I'd anticipated this move. I said calmly, didn't you just find some money? Why don't you use that? That's my good luck charm. I can't spend it. Just help me out this once. I'll Venmo you back at the dorm, Jenna pleaded, tugging at my arm. I swallowed my disgust, took out my phone, and sent her the $388. I made sure to add loan in the memo, so she couldn't deny it later. Jenna took the bag from the clerk and walked out, completely satisfied. Back at the dorm, I expected her to make excuses to delay paying me back, just like always. But this time was different. For the first time ever, she brought it up herself. Chloe, guess what? There was $400 in that envelope I found, Jenna said while putting away her new dress. Here, I can pay you back with this. Just take it. Keep the change. No, that's your lucky money. You should keep it, I refused. Are you sure you don't want it? Because I don't have any other money to pay you back. My mom doesn't send me my allowance until next month. Come on, Chloe, just take it. I scoffed internally. So that was her plan. I realized that if I kept refusing, Jenna would just keep finding ways to trick me. I might as well play along. I deliberately put on a glove before taking the money, placed it in my bag, and said, word for word. You're right. Jenna let out a visible sigh of relief, her face breaking into a huge smile. Great, great. Remember to keep it close to you at all times. My good luck will transfer to you. I will, I said, my eyes like ice as I looked at her. Seeing her brilliant smile, I secretly clenched my fists. This time I would never let her win. The second she went to the bathroom, I disgustedly locked the red envelope in my desk drawer. Hey Chloe, are you going home this weekend? On Friday morning, my roommate Lily asked me while chewing on a bagel. Yeah, my grandpa called last week and told me to come see his new piglets. You're in for a treat. Your grandpa's pork is the best. I nodded, picturing my grandpa's kind, smiling face. I thought of the red envelope from Jenna sitting in my drawer. I looked at its bright red color, and a cold smile touched my lips. That weekend, I went back to my family's old home in the country. After my dad made his fortune, he always wanted my grandpa to move to the city, but Grandpa had been a farmer his whole life and preferred to stay and tend his fields. Grandpa. I saw him from a distance, waiting for me by the door, holding a handful of fresh grass. Oh, my precious granddaughter is back. Grandpa's face wrinkled into a huge smile when he saw me. Grandpa, I came to see you and the piglets, I said, linking my arm in his. Let's go, let's go. I'll take you to see them. The new ones are so sturdy. Grandpa pulled me toward the backyard. As we got close to the pig pen, the strong smell of pig manure hit me. I fought back the urge to gag and looked at the few dirty piglets in the pen, my stomach turning. An idea began to form in my mind. I took the red envelope from my bag, got a clean cloth from my grandpa, and sewed the money into it, making a simple shirt. Then, when Grandpa wasn't looking, I snuck it onto one of the piglets. Grandpa, whatever you do, don't take his little shirt off, okay? I instructed him. All right, Grandpa promises, he said with a smile. I looked at the piglet in its little shirt and smirked. Jenna, if you want to swap fates, go swap it with a pig. The new week started, and I returned to school. The moment I walked into the dorm, Jenna eagerly rushed over. Chloe, you've been keeping the envelope with you, right? She asked, trying to peek into my pockets. I was prepared. I pulled an identical red envelope from my bag and waved it in her face. Of course. I have to take good care of your luck, I said with a smile. Seeing the envelope, Jenna visibly relaxed and went back to her desk to play games. Jenna, can you keep it down? We're trying to study for the GREs. Lily complained. There were 4 of us in the dorm, and the other 2 roommates were also prepping for grad school. We had the same goal and often studied together in the room to keep each other on track. What's the point of grad school? You'll just end up working for someone else, Jenna said without looking up from her screen. I'm different. I'm going to marry into a rich family. You all should stop burying your heads in books. If you suck up to me now, maybe I'll find a spot for you at my husband's company later. You? Marry rich? Lily couldn't help but mock her. I think you should focus on passing your English proficiency test first. Jenna looked smug. You just wait and see. I'm destined to be on top of the world. I gave her a cold look, filled with disdain. Top of the world? I don't know about that. But top of the pigsty is a definite possibility. After all, my grandpa's pig-raising skills were famous in his village. One day, I was just leaving the library when I saw a lamppost falling right toward me. The long pole crashed down, hitting several students. A shard of glass from the shattered light grazed my cheek. It was a serious incident, so the school called an ambulance. Since I was slightly injured, I went along to the hospital. The university said the lamppost was old and hadn't been maintained. It was just an accident. Thankfully, my injury wasn't serious. My roommates heard that a lamppost had fallen, and that I was one of the people hurt, so they all rushed to the hospital to see me. Jenna was with them. The moment she walked in and saw the thick gauze on my face, she looked absolutely thrilled. She opened her mouth, her voice laced with excitement. No way. Is it that bad? Is it going to leave a scar? That's horrible. Chloe, don't worry, Lily said, shooting Jenna a glare. What is wrong with you? Chloe just has a small cut. It won't scar. Jenna's sharp voice cut in. A piece of glass that big? How could it not leave a scar? You're going to be an ugly monster from now on. Lily exploded. Jenna, can you just shut up? Chloe needs to rest, not listen to your curses. But Jenna was unfazed. I'm just telling the truth. Am I wrong? She's a freak now. I sneered internally. Jenna must think the fate swap was complete. She wasn't even pretending anymore. The more miserable I seemed, the happier she was, because it proved her plan was working. And the bandage on my face? I deliberately asked the nurse to wrap it that way, just to make her let her guard down. I put on a panicked act, my voice trembling as I asked, will it really scar? What am I going to do? Jenna said with fake sympathy, don't worry, I'll definitely come visit you often. We're best friends, after all. I looked at her phony smile and sneered inwardly. Best friends? You don't deserve the title. Chloe, are you thirsty? I'll get you some water, Lily said, about to get up. Don't bother, Jenna said, snatching the cup from Lily's hand. I'll do it. She brought the cup of water over to me, a knowing smile on her face. Chloe, don't you think I've gotten prettier? She said, deliberately holding her hand out in front of me to show off her fair, delicate skin. I looked at her smug face and laughed coldly to myself. It was true. In just a few days, Jenna's skin had become much fairer, her acne was gone, and her whole face looked smooth and clear. Of course it did. The one she was swapping fates with was one of my grandpa's piglets. A piglet's skin is naturally smooth and tender. Seeing me dazed, she gloated even more. Look at you. Your face is ruined, and I've become beautiful. Looks like the title of campus beauty will be mine now. Lily couldn't stand Jenna's attitude anymore. She pushed her aside. Chloe, have an apple. I'll peel it for you. Jenna stumbled, nearly falling over. She righted herself and rolled her eyes dismissively. Oh, look at you, so protective. What, trying to suck up to her so she'll take care of you in the future? Jenna, don't you dare go too far. Lily was furious. Me go too far? Jenna sneered. Let me tell you, I'm going to be a trophy wife. You poor students will all be kissing my feet. You? Lily scoffed. Someone like you a trophy wife? You must be dreaming. What's wrong with me? I'm pretty, and I have a great body, Jenna said, puffing out her chest confidently. Unlike some people who are ugly freaks now and will never even find a man. Lily was so angry she was speechless. Jenna, get out. I couldn't listen anymore and roared at her. My sudden outburst startled Jenna, but she quickly recovered her arrogant demeanor. Ooh, the freak has a temper? You want a piece of me? Get out, I said, my face a mask. Seeing that I was genuinely angry, Jenna reluctantly left the room. Lily saw how pale I was and quickly tried to comfort me. Chloe, don't be mad. Her a trophy wife? That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. I watched Jenna's retreating back and smiled a meaningful smile. She might want to be one, but she might not live long enough. After a week of recovery, my wound had mostly healed. It left only a faint pink mark, but I kept a small bandage on my face anyway. When I got back to the dorm, I found the floor covered in shopping bags, all with luxury brand logos. What is all this? I was stunned by the scene. Chloe, you're finally back. I have to tell you, Jenna landed a rich guy. Lily whispered conspiratorially. A rich guy? I was skeptical. It's true. He's a trust fund kid. I heard his family owns mines or something. And look, all this stuff is from him. I snorted. So things were following the same path as my last life. Come on, let's go get dinner. I'll tell you all about it, Lily said, pulling me out the door. Just as we got downstairs, we saw a flashy red sports car parked by the entrance. Jenna was getting out of the car, arm in arm with a fashionably dressed man. They were laughing and talking, looking incredibly cozy. Well, if it isn't our campus queen, Jenna said sarcastically when she saw us. The man beside her looked at us curiously, and Jenna immediately made the introductions. Honey, these are the two roommates I was telling you about. This is my boyfriend, Chad, Jenna said proudly. Chad, this is that roommate I told you about, the one who ruined her face in the car crash. So tragic. Chad's gaze was filled with pity and a hint of barely concealed disgust. I knew Jenna wasn't even trying to hide her hostility toward me anymore. She must have been convinced the fate swap was a done deal. But I'd noticed over the past few days that none of the bad luck from my previous life, like tripping over my own feet or choking on water, had happened this time. So I didn't bother being nice. I shot back coldly. Yeah, so tragic. Not like some people whose beauty is store-bought. You better be careful. You might wake up one morning and find your own face looks like this. I deliberately lowered my voice, putting on a mysterious air. After all, everyone knows what you used to look like. Jenna's face went white. She subconsciously touched her cheek. Then she retorted, Chad, don't listen to her nonsense. I've always looked like this. Besides, where would I get the money for plastic surgery? Chad quickly comforted her. Babe, I believe you. She's just some ugly freak. I think she's just jealous. I sneered. Some people are like maggots. They live in filth, so they think the whole world is a cesspool. I was done wasting my breath on her. I grabbed Lily and turned to leave. Chloe, are you okay? Lily asked, worried. I'm fine. It's not worth getting angry over people like her, I said, shaking my head. Right now, the most important thing was grad school. I didn't want to deal with anything else. On Friday, I got a call from my dad. Chloe, there's a business dinner on Saturday night. I want you to come with me. A dinner? What kind of dinner? I was a little confused. Some business associates. It's good for you to meet them. The company will be yours one day, after all. I was silent for a moment, then agreed. My dad was right. I was his only heir. There were some things I would have to face sooner or later. On Saturday night, I took off the bandage, put on some light makeup to cover the scar, and went to the restaurant. I followed my dad into the private room and scanned the older men at the table. My gaze finally landed on the man sitting next to a Mr. Zhang. Chad. What was he doing here? Chad looked up, and when he saw me, his eyes went wide as saucers. After the introductions, Chad finally understood that I was the heiress to Hanlon Enterprises. The way he looked at me instantly changed, his eyes now filled with greed and desire. I fought back my disgust, kept my head down and focused on my food, trying my best not to look at him. But he kept staring at me, his intense gaze making my skin crawl. I forced a smile through the entire dinner, feeling more and more agitated. Finally, I made an excuse to leave early. Dad, I have something to do, so I'm going to head out. I didn't expect Chad to stand up too. He caught up to me outside the room. Chloe, I had no idea you were so beautiful. As he spoke, he reached out to touch my face. I slapped his hand away. Have some respect. What do you two think you're doing? Jenna's shrill voice suddenly cut through the air. I turned to see Jenna standing in the hallway, glaring at me furiously. Then she came closer, her face a mask of shock. She shouted, "What's going on? Weren't you disfigured? How come there isn't a single scar?" I sneered. What? Are you disappointed I'm not? You. Jenna was fuming. What are you doing here? What am I doing? I feigned innocence. I'm just here for dinner. What about you? Why are you here? Jenna looked from me to Chad and yelled, I knew it. You came here to seduce my boyfriend. Jenna pointed her finger in my face. You shameless homewrecker. You were probably just jealous that I found a rich boyfriend. I rolled my eyes. You're the only one who thinks he's such a prize. I wouldn't be interested in Chad even if I were. I couldn't be bothered to argue with her anymore, so I turned and walked away. But the next day, an anonymous post appeared on the school's online forum. The headline read, "Shocking. Former campus beauty becomes a mistress to land a rich guy." The post included photos of me and Chad at the restaurant. The angles were tricky, but you could still clearly see my face. The text was even more vicious, painting me as a shameless gold digger, and even inventing some flirtatious details about my interactions with Chad. Suddenly, I was the talk of the campus, the target of everyone's scorn. A bunch of bored students appointed themselves moral crusaders, attacking me from their high horses. Lily showed me her phone, furious. Chloe, look at these people. This is outrageous. I glanced at the screen. The nasty comments didn't make me angry, they just seemed pathetic. Don't worry about them. The truth will come out, I said. Lily started to say something else, but I cut her off. I'm really fine. Don't worry about me. I smiled. Right now, all I want to do is focus on my exams. I don't care about anything else. Lily looked at me, hesitating, but finally nodded. I knew what Jenna was doing. She was trying to ruin me. But what she didn't know was that the truth always comes out. And she would eventually pay the price for what she'd done. Besides, if I didn't let things escalate a little, how could I make her fall even harder? In the days that followed, Jenna's life, just like in my previous life, was smooth sailing. She spent her days shopping, going to spas, and getting pampered. She became plump and decked out in jewels, looking every bit the part of a rich man's wife. I watched her gloating and sneered to myself. My grandpa's pigs must be pretty nutritious. Jenna had also signed up for the GREs, but she never studied. Instead, she was always bragging that she could pass without even trying. I laughed coldly. After that incident, I hadn't spoken a single word to her. My days were spent either in class or buried in books at the library. Time flew by, and soon it was exam day. In the testing center, I wrote furiously, pouring all my months of hard work onto the page. Jenna, on the other hand, looked completely relaxed and even turned in her test early. The day the scores were released, Jenna was camped out in front of her computer, smugly refreshing the page. Haha, I'm definitely going to get in, she said confidently. However, the moment her score appeared, the smile on her face froze. Ah, she screamed, jumping up from her chair. Jenna started frantically refreshing the page like a madwoman, but her score didn't change. She collapsed onto the floor, mumbling to herself, "Impossible. This is impossible." Lily rolled her eyes, confused. "You never studied. Isn't it normal that you didn't pass?" Just then my phone buzzed. It was a text with my scores. I opened it. A total score of 398, well above the cutoff for my target schools. I looked up at Jenna. She caught a glimpse of my phone screen out of the corner of her eye, and her face turned even uglier. Suddenly, Jenna went berserk. She lunged at me, grabbing my arm and screaming hysterically, "Impossible. How could you have passed? It was supposed to be me who passed. What did you do?" I yanked my arm free and stared at her coldly. "Jenna, stop being crazy. What do you mean it was supposed to be you? Are you sick? You." Jenna was shaking with rage, but couldn't get a word out. I was done with her. I turned and left the dorm. I took out my phone and called my grandpa. Hey grandpa, I'm craving some fresh pork. All right. I'll butcher a pig this weekend and bring it over. Grandpa, can you do the one wearing the little shirt? I want to eat that one first. After hanging up, a cold smile spread across my face. Jenna, you love taking things that belong to others, don't you? Let's see how you like it when the curse backfires. After that, I made a post on the school forum. In it, I explained in detail how Jenna had fabricated lies to slander me. I was an heiress myself, I'd never been short on money. Why would I need to be a gold digger? I also posted evidence of all the times I had lent Jenna money that she never paid back. Screenshots, recordings, I had everything. The post went viral instantly. Students flooded the comments, condemning Jenna for her despicable behavior. All the vitriol she had directed at me came back at her, tenfold. And for whatever reason, Chad broke up with her. She spent her days in the dorm, cursing him out, but no one paid her any attention. Without Chad's financial support, Jenna quickly ran out of money to blow. She couldn't bring herself to sell any of her designer bags or clothes, so she could only stare at them collecting dust in her closet. To maintain her lavish lifestyle, Jenna started staying out all night, more and more often. Jenna, what is wrong with you lately? You're never in the dorm. The RA has come looking for you several times, Lily said, frowning at Jenna's heavy makeup. Jenna rolled her eyes, slinging a luxury brand bag over her shoulder as she sashayed out of the room. None of your business. I'm going to be a trophy wife. You poor students can just eat your hearts out. Her? A trophy wife? She should take a look in the mirror, Lily muttered at Jenna's retreating back. Jenna had no idea that she had already reverted to her old self. Her once smooth, fair skin was now covered in a dense landscape of pimples and acne scars, looking as cratered as the surface of the moon. As she passed a mirror in the hallway, she caught a glimpse of her reflection and let out a blood-curdling scream. Ah! She clutched her face and stumbled backward, staring in horror at the person in the mirror. My face? What happened to my face? Jenna whimpered, her voice trembling with fear and despair. The other students were startled by her scream and quickly moved away. I happened to be coming back from outside. When Jenna saw me, she flew into a rage, lunging at me and trying to wrap her hands around my neck. It was you. You did this to me, she shrieked, her voice dripping with venom and hate. I was ready for her. I sidestepped her attack, twisted her arm behind her back, and pinned her to the floor. Please. As an heiress, self-defense was a mandatory part of my education. I stared down at her coldly and whispered in her ear, so? How does it feel to swap fates with a pig? Jenna's eyes widened in disbelief. You knew everything? I snorted. That's right. You wanted to swap lives with me? Well, now you get to enjoy the blowback. With that, I walked away, leaving her stunned and motionless on the floor. After repeatedly skipping class and showing no remorse, Jenna was finally expelled from the university. When she left, no one saw her off. No one even acknowledged her. She was like a stray dog, leaving the campus that had once been her stage all alone. As for me, I went on with my life, studying, living, dating. Everything fell into place. Later, Lily told me that Jenna had died. She was hit by a car, she said. Her body was torn to pieces. It was brutal. I asked her how she knew so many details. Lily just pointed to a news article on her phone. The incident had been so shocking it had made the news. The article said that during her relationship with Chad, Jenna had not only spent a ton of his money, but had also stolen confidential information from his company. After he broke up with her, Jenna, holding a grudge, repeatedly tried to get back together with him. When that failed, she sold the secrets to a rival company, causing Chad's family business to lose millions. She even took the money from the rival company and flaunted it in Chad's face. Enraged, Chad had run her down with his car while she was still gloating. I looked at the familiar car in the news photo, and suddenly remembered the license plate I'd seen outside the hotel. It was the same one. I felt a mix of emotions, not knowing what to say. This ending, wasn't it exactly the same as the pigs? Grandpa had told me that just as he was about to slaughter the pig, it had somehow broken free. He couldn't catch it. The pig ran onto the highway and was hit and killed by a car. A wave of grim irony washed over me. You could say Jenna got what she deserved. Besides, even if Grandpa had sent me the pork from that pig, I would have found it disgusting. According to Lily, when Jenna's parents showed up, Chad paid them $1 million. They happily took the money, immediately signed a settlement agreement, and said they were glad to finally be rid of their deadbeat daughter. So Chad faced almost no punishment. I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness. A human life, and in her parents' eyes, it was only worth $1 million. But those were their choices, and they had nothing to do with me. My life had to go on, and my future was bright. I still had my family and friends who loved me, and I had my own dreams. I was sure that now, without Jenna's influence, my life would be even better. No one could control my destiny ever again. The end.